Hey YouTube, my Darkness 85 here. What's up? Here is the moment you all been waiting for. The new Yu-Gi-Oh! Banlist for May has finally been revealed. It takes effect May 21st. So I'm going to tell you what got banned. So this is the first card that got banned, Astrograph Sorcerer. The next card, Masterpiece, the True Dracos Slaying King. Phoenician Cluster Amaryllis, Supreme King Dragon Starvin Venom, Ancient Fairy Dragon, Rank Up Magic Agent Chaos Force. That grass looks greener. That's what got banned. Now limited. Dynamite Knight, the True Drago Fighter. Gem Knight, Master Diamond, Chain Strike. That's the only things that got limited. Semide, that Cleat Towers, whatever he's called, I can't really pronounce the names. Sorry about that. Ring of Destruction's at 2, and no longer limited. Atlantean Dragoons, Grand Soil, the Elemental Lord, the Fire Attribute, True Drago Warrior, Mathematician, Grand Mole, and Compulsory Evacuation Device. So, alright. So I'm going to explain each one individually. Astrograph Sorcerer. That card, that's going to really hurt Pendulum Magicians quite severely, in my personal opinion. Hold on one sec. So basically, what Konami did, they really hurt Pendulum Magicians severely by getting rid of Astrograph and this. So now you can no longer put 2 of these on board and do an OTK, whatever, or on board. I'm really surprised they didn't limit or ban Electromite, which I think they should have done, but this was a pretty decent hit either way, because there was a lot of talk that either Electromite or Astrograph Sorcerer was going to get hit. One of those two were going to get hit. So Astrograph was the one that got banned. This was a pretty big surprise to me. I didn't really expect this to get hit. But because of this and Astrograph, I think this was the appropriate move on the Pendulum Magicians. They could have hit another card or so. Like, for example, they could have hit, like, Electromite could have gone to 1. That Tuningware Magician could have gone to 1, and Black Fang would have went to 2. Stuff like that, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. But this is a pretty decent start. So I'm pretty happy about that, because with Astrograph, there was a combo, which I have a dual video that I might upload later that can show how dangerous this and Astrograph can be, along with a couple combos with the Pendulum Magician monsters. I'll probably upload that later on tonight, but for now, this was a good hit on Konami's part. Now, as for the Masterpiece getting banned, that was going to happen eventually because, you know, True Dragos were topping regionals like the last year and a half since they came out last spring. So, like, and also, they brought back the Drago Fighter. That was a huge surprise to me. They get rid of Masterpiece, but they give us back Dynamite, the True Dragonite Fighter. That is pretty epic in my opinion. So, like, it would have been cool if we had Dynamite at 2 instead of 1, because I don't think that card's that broken, but whatever. And they brought us back that Fire Drago Warrior, at the Fire Attribute Drago Warrior, Ignis, back to free. That's a pretty interesting move on Konami's part. And they didn't ban or limit Diagram. So, I'm not saying True Dragos are not going to be that good, but they're not going to be as broken as they were with Masterpiece at free. So, that was a kind of big surprise, but I'm pretty okay with that overall. The Cluster Amaryllis, you saw what it could do in the OCG a few months back, and it got banned in the OCG, or limited. I think it got banned. Like, its effect is when it attacks, It inflicts damage piercing if it attacks monster in defense mode, and then when it attacks, it's sent to the graveyard. Your opponent takes 800 points of damage, and then after that, you banish a plant type monster, special summon it back. It's just like, it's kind of weird. I just don't know why. I think there's going to be a new archetype that this card would have been so broken against with whatever. And it's similar to when the Tyrant's Neptune got banned. So, yeah. Ancient Fairy Dragon. That was a big surprise. Now, let me explain the consequences of that. So now that Ancient Fairy's banned, hold on. I just gotta take out a couple cards just to show you my opinion on it. Hold on. Alright, so, right here, I'm going to show you these. So, the consequence to this getting banned is Destrudo with Spirals is going to be really difficult to use, combined with Dragon Ravine. Because now you would have to run, like, what, 2 Black Rose Dragons or something else? So, this was a pretty surprising shock to get banned, but this got banned in the OCG, so I think this was going to get hit in the TCG eventually, which it did. So, it's just too overpowering because you can blow up a field spell and then search for another field spell. It's just, especially with Spirals, this was pretty messed up. So, because like for example, you play Dragon's Ravine, you send this from your deck to the graveyard if you run Spirals, then you pay half your life points, special summon it, then tune it with a level, with whatever, and then you can summon an Ancient Fairy Dragon. It's just, it's ridiculous. It's kind of crazy the way you look at it. And plus, you can use this to blow up this card and get this out on board. It's just, there's a lot of wacky combos you can pull off with this card. I think there's going to be future stuff that would make this card so broken and overpowered, Konami just had to do something. So, Spirals are still going to be okay, but you're not going to get, like, a pretty good, good setup on the field immediately. Because this card used to do a lot of wacky stuff with it. No joke. That's how you get your Spiral combos out with Super Agent, Sleeper, Last Resort, stuff like that. So, but it's going to be really difficult to do now. So yeah, that's kind of a big shock to me. So the next thing I'm going to discuss is the rank up Chaos Force spell that got banned. I really don't care much for it. I think it's kind of irrelevant, but they had to get rid of it because I think they just had to get rid of it. Because I don't really know much about that card, so I'm really not gonna say much. But I think there was a reason why it got banned. So I'm just gonna skip that one because I really don't know why it got banned. Because I never really got to know that card all the time. So therefore, yeah. The next card. This is another card I wanted to discuss. The grass that looks greener. That card. It's about time. Now that officially puts an end to the 60 card deck build era. So we will no longer see 60 card Lightsworn, 60 card Vendread, 60 card Vendread Stradals, 60 card Infernoids, 60 card Pale Zodiacs, stuff like that. You're not going to see much of that anymore since that card got banned. And quite frankly, it was about time it got banned, especially with the new stuff that could make Infernoids and the stuff from the new recent structure deck. That had to go. That had to go. That puts an end to an era that was so insane. You could still try to run 60 card builds, but you would have to run full out Lightsworn. Free charge of the Light Brigades, free solar recharges, Pot of Desires, stuff like that. It's insane. So that had to go because that card was broken when it was first released. And then it got emergency limited to one in the last summer. So that was a move that everyone was expecting that was going to happen. It should have happened the previous ban list, but it didn't. So yeah, you could try to run 60 card builds, but it's going to be quite difficult outside of Lightsworn to run a 60 card build and still get productive results. Alright, so I already explained the Dynamite cards. I don't need to explain that any further. Gem Knight Master Diamond. That card, Gem Knights are really overpowered, especially with that new Link monster and a lot of combos you can pull off with it. And I'm really surprised that Brilliant Fusion did not get banned or limited. So that's pretty good. So we still have Brilliant Fusion at free. And, you know, and that's the only Gem Knight Fusion that got limited. I'm surprised that they didn't limit the one that you summoned with Brilliant Fusion. But I think Master Diamond was a little overpowered. So that had to go, obviously. I don't blame them for doing that. So, hold on. I'm going to try to research it for a minute so I can understand why this happened with it. Just give me a sec. Alright, hold on. Gem Knight Master Diamond. Let me look up its effect to wonder why it was so broken and had to get limited. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Here's the effect of Master Diamond. Basically, you need free Gem Knight monsters. It must first be fusion summoned. This card gains 100 attack points for each gem monster in your graveyard. Once per turn, you can banish one level summon or lower Gem Knight fusion monster from your graveyard until the end phase. This card's name becomes that monster's and replace this effect with that monster's original effects. So basically, it was like a 2,900, 2,500 attack and defense point monster respectively, and it gains 100 for each one. So basically, it was pretty broken because you could just basically banish any level summon or lower Gem Knight fusion monster and copy its effects for that turn. It's pretty insane. So, and Gem Knights are not that really good right now yet until they get more support. So I think they wanted to just basically tone it down a little bit before any future support came out to make that card overpowered. So yeah, that's obvious. Now, what else? Chain Strike, burn damage type builds, that had to happen. So yeah, Chain Strike, it got limited once before, then it got semi'd in the past, and they went back to free, and it got hit to 1 now. So basically, for each chain link, you activate that card, and for each chain link that transpired prior to that card being activated, your opponent loses 400 life points for each chain link. So yeah, there must be like a archetype coming out that would benefit from that card to make it overpowered. So yeah, I'm okay with that. I really don't care. It doesn't really affect me anyway. The towers, the one that you sacrifice free cleat monsters for. Semi to 2, that's going to make cleats more overpowered than it used to be. So I don't have really much of a problem with it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm really happy to see that because quite frankly, that card like legitimately deserves another chance. It does. I wish it would have went to free, but that would be because you probably would have run free anyway because it's really hard to summon. So I think 2 is a good reasonable balance. Well, one thing they should have done was put Scout back to 2, but obviously they just don't want to do that because that would make cleats so supremely broken. People would start running cleats again, and then you would see Cleatport Disc, Card of Demises, stuff like that going up in price again. But whatever. I'm pretty happy about it. Ring of Destruction, I really don't care for because its effects were toned down, so I'm okay with it. So it's whatever. I don't really have much to say about that one. Dragoons, Mermails, that's going to make Mermails more extremely overpowered because of the effect by discarding it via a Mermail water monster effect, like Abyss Pike. That's just going to make the deck so overpowered. I don't know why Konami's bringing it back to free, but it's whatever. Mermails aren't that overpowered anyway because it hasn't really topped a lot of regionals recently. Because it hasn't like topped 8 a regional or anything like that. That's been mostly Pendulum Magicians, Spirals, Ultrageistes, stuff like that. Mermails need more support to make it more relevant. Grand Soil, the Elemental Lord. That card, well, if Elemental Saber, that archetype around, yeah. Grand Soil going back to free, that's okay by me. I don't really have much problems with it. That's just going to make the deck more overpowered. And plus, it's getting reprinted along with the Moon Glacia and that Flames of Destruction Special Edition set coming out next month. So I think that's the appropriate time for it to come back. Because quite frankly, I was expecting it to go to 1, but I never expected it to go to 3. So that's pretty amazing. And it's, I think that's one of the reasons why Grand Soil was one of the 2 reprints along with Moon Glacier. Because why would you reprint a ban card if it wasn't going to come off the ban list anytime soon? That would have made absolutely no sense. Mathematician, I don't have a problem with that. Mathematician's irrelevant anyway, knowing people play it anymore anyway. This would have been good if they brought Construct back to 1, but they didn't. Which I'm pretty surprised because El Shaddoll's Construct are like going up in price on TCG Player because everyone thought it was going to come back like it did in the OCG. Same thing, and plus Window was going up in price and Shaddoll Fusion was going up in price, but it's kind of sad. But maybe in the next ban list we might see Construct go back to 1. Because it could have, but it didn't. Neospatial Grand Mole, whatever. It's still a pretty good card. It's not that overpowered because a lot of stuff can stop that now, like Ghost Ogre, Effect Veiler, Solemn Warning, Solemn Strike. A lot of cards can stop it, so it's irrelevant. And Compulsory Evacuation Device, that card's not much of a threat anyway. I'm okay with that because you just return 1 monster on the field. It might be pretty good in some situations, like if your monster's targeted, you could just compulse it back to your hand and they can't use the effect on it. So, that's whatever. I'm cool with that. It's whatever. Quite frankly, Compulse should have went back to free a long time ago because it's not that relevant anyway. So yeah, that's the ban list. Tell me what you think of it. I think it's a pretty decent ban list. Like, in my opinion, more stuff should have been done. Like, what they could have done was put Construct back to 1. They could have put Exciton Knight back at 1. Stratos back at 1, which would have been a long shot. And they could have banned, like, Electromite. They could have banned Regeki. Maybe put Dark Hole back to 2, but it's whatever. The next ban list after this one will not be until no sooner than August. So probably not until early September or mid-September we would see the next ban list. So yeah, tell me what you guys think of it. More videos coming soon. Later, guys.